about this lecture about punishment. Remember the two previous lectures we talked, number one, the first one we talked about parenting in general, some guidelines about parenting. And then the next one was discipline. Okay? And we said that discipline is not synonymous or should not be synonymous with punishment. Punishment is one of the tools or one of the ways to discipline. But in general, we want to actually avoid punishment as much as we can. All parents have very strong opinions when it comes to the subject of punishment and the use of punishment. And not only parents, everywhere, everybody is talking about this. Churches, psychologists, and different groups, even the government, you know, the legislators, they talk about what types of punishments are allowed and what not, and so on. Punishment is, if used alone, is not effective on the long run because it is entirely negative. It teaches the child what not to do, but does not teach what he or she should do. It's really important to understand this. Okay? Punishment effects are at best temporary, and when used too often, it loses its effectiveness. Very, very important thing to know. And we see this all the time with parents punishing. The only discipline tool they use is punishment. After a while, it loses its effect. Kids don't care anymore. They just get the punishment and nothing happens. And I've seen cases, very, very sad cases, where the punishment is so bad, abusive. No, it is just mentally they actually dissociate, as if the punishment is happening to someone else. And it's very sad when you see that. And the more extreme cases, they punish themselves. They start cutting themselves, or hit their head, or punch themselves in the face. And I've seen very extreme cases like that. So punishment alone is something temporary. It's all negative, and it does not teach the child what they should do. Okay, you told me that you punished me for the bad behavior, so what? What am I going to do after that? Punishment provokes negative feelings like fear, and fear will give quick response, all right? But usually it doesn't cause or doesn't help the ultimate goal of discipline, which is self-discipline. Okay? Usually it doesn't. Again, I want to remind you of this concept because we spoke about it yesterday, about the equality. Mutual respect does not mean all family members are equal. It means that parenting and discipline takes place in a context of empathy, love, protection, and guidance. Why this is here? Because punishment is actually, a lot of times, especially physical punishment, conveys the message that we are not equal, and it has a lot of disrespect a lot of times. Okay? So it can be, especially if it's used so much or severely, it will contradict this rule that we talked about yesterday about mutual respect and mutual equality. And the more important thing is, what is the use of discipline if it does not help the child to acquire self-discipline? Okay? So yeah, they did well, they are behaving now when the punishment is imposed, but after the punishment is gone, they cannot control their behavior, so what's the use? Okay? When you're not going to be there for them all the time punishing them. Okay? Also, excessive punishment causes the child to believe that he or she is a bad person and results in low self-esteem, low confidence, and low self-control, actually. And remember, we talked yesterday about those goals of behavior, mistaken goals of behavior. One of them was the inadequacy. And this is caused usually by severe, continuous punishment, putting down, shaming, blaming, and all that. After a while, that child loses self-esteem or develops very low self-esteem, and they feel they think about themselves as bad people. I'm a bad person. And if I'm a bad person, what do you think will happen? If I believe I'm bad, I'll behave bad, of course. So the end result will be bad behavior. So what are we doing then? Okay? And unfortunately, this is one of the major problems that we see in child psychology, psychiatry, is that all those kids have very low self-esteem. They don't have this this belief that they can control their behavior. They're just waiting for this external punishment to come, and when it's there, they behave okay a little bit, and then after it's gone, they go back to their bad behaviors. Punishment in moderation may be necessary. Sometimes, of course, we will need punishment. We're not saying punishment is out of the question. But unless it's done in a larger positive context of discipline, it will not be effective or even maybe harmful. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You can punish a child, all right? You can punish them. But if in order for it to work, it has to be in the context of a very positive atmosphere and positive culture at home. And it's done in moderation, and it's not all continuous, then it can work, all right? And I'll give you an example. If your child is very attached to you and he loves you so much and he enjoys being with you and the family is happy, and then all of a sudden he does something wrong, and then you just look at him in an angry way, this by itself can be a major punishment to that kid, and they immediately change their behavior, okay? Let alone hitting them or doing real punishment. So the more positive the atmosphere, the small or the less you will need punishment. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if everybody is yelling at each other all the time and hitting each other, and the mom is grounding the kids all day long and spanking them and getting belts and stuff like that, you find yourself needing to do this more and more and more and more. You find yourself needing to yell louder and louder and louder. So it doesn't work anymore.